Chicago mornings smelled like rain and fresh bread. Clara chose the supermarket over any office because fraudsters rarely expected evidence to surface near the bananas. She pushed a squeaky cart beside Evelyn, who slid a folder between cereal boxes. "Your father's authorization forged. Left-leaning stroke at the end. His always goes right." Clara dropped lemons into her cart, each thunk echoing irritation. "So Meredith's not just cooking numbers, she's faking bloodlines." Overhead, the loudspeaker announced a sale on coffee pods. Mothers compared coupons, college kids stacked ramen, life moving on without scandal. Clara envied their normal. Her phone buzzed. A cafeteria group text. Debbie's hours cut, reason, donor compliance. Clara froze. The fraud wasn't staying in spreadsheets, it was eating people's jobs. She clenched the card handle. "Tonight, laundromat. We steam this signature until it sweats." Evelyn nodded. "Bring quarters." For the first time, Clara wished justice came with self-checkout. The spin studio pulsed with pop music and fluorescent pep. Clara pedaled beside Lynn, who looked like sarcasm in yoga pants. "Union Diner," Lynn huffed. "Every Thursday, Meredith and Tara meet Shaw Holdings guys. Same booth, same waitress." Predictable. Clara rose on the pedals. "We'll be there." After class, they cooled down in a strip mall lot where a landscaper loaded mulch and teenagers tested bad parking. Lynn handed over access logs, pages damp with sweat. "See the spikes? Jackson's badge keeps pinging at midnight. Ghost shifts." Clara sipped black coffee from a styrofoam cup. Around them, commuters wrangled bagels and bus passes. Chicago was relentless in its ordinariness. Raina texted, "Judge signed subpoenas. Limited scope. Evidence must be airtight." Clara cracked her knuckles. "Good. Let's give them a paper trail no bleach can wash out." Ordinary people jogged past. Clara envied them. They ran for cardio. She ran for proof. The laundromat's hum was steady. Washers, dryers, and the steady patience of detergent. Clara dropped damp uniforms into a machine. Evelyn arrived with a manila folder, slipping it onto the folding table. "Paper looks right," Evelyn said, "but the watermark's fake. It's printed, not pressed." Clara plugged in her travel steamer, her weapon of choice. Steam rolled across the page. The watermark bled like cheap makeup, proof, raw and undeniable. Evelyn allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. "Admissible, elegant." Across the room, a college student folded socks while an old man slapped a pinball machine. Ordinary life kept turning, oblivious. Clara envied their small problems. She closed the dryer door with force. "They think paperwork hides truth. Let's make truth noisy." When the timer dinged, she packed evidence and laundry together. Both needed airing out, but only one could bring a billion-dollar empire to its knees. Union Diner smelled like bacon grease and resignation. Meredith Shaw and Tara Voss occupied their favorite booth, heads close over steaming mugs. Sophia and Nana claimed the booth behind, menus up like shields. Lynn sipped tea at the counter. Raina positioned herself near the door. Clara slid into a shadowed corner, coffee untouched. Meredith's voice carried, "STEM demo collapses. We blame facilities. Shaw Holdings buys in at discount. 30% shaved off valuation." Tara stirred cream. "And Clara?" "Harmless. She plays detective in a hairnet." Clara smirked. "Play on." The waitress refilled mugs. Raina's phone buzzed. "Warrant signed. Storage unit tonight." Sophia left cash under a sugar packet. "America runs on refills," she muttered. "Let's see if fraud does too." As Meredith laughed at her own joke, Clara watched her reflection in the pie case and thought, "Time's almost up, darling." The suburban storage maze hummed with fluorescent lights. Raina rolled up Tara's unit. Inside, stacks of cookie boxes, router shells, label sheets, and banker's boxes marked training vendors. Sophia slid open a router shell. Sand spilled onto concrete. "Sabotage, not shipments." Naina tapped a laptop. Pulled emails, alias tvosavcsrisk.com. And look. She held up invoices addressed to Global Core Audit Subcommittee, C.O. Meredith Shaw. Services billed, signature replication, board deck harmonization, narrative drafting. Clara's pulse spiked. This wasn't a rogue scheme, it was institutional. Lynn whispered, "They didn't just fake signatures, they built a factory for them." Raina snapped photos, tagged evidence, sealed containers. Chain of custody intact. A minivan drove past outside, radio blasting a love song. The suburbs carried on, oblivious. Clara stared at the invoices. This isn't fraud, it's policy. Back at her apartment, Clara scrolled her building's HOA chat. Neighbors fought about recycling bins and hallway paint. Then her inbox pinged. Meredith Shaw. Subject, professional courtesy. Step away. Your father prefers quiet. We can accommodate kitchen remodels, scholarships, endowments. Your friends can be rewarded. Clara stared, the absurdity stinging. Extortion disguised as generosity. She forwarded it to Evelyn and Raina, gift-wrapped evidence. Downstairs, Luis the super replaced a light bulb. Normalcy carried on. Clara almost laughed at the contrast. Her phone buzzed again. Debbie had sent a selfie in the cafeteria. "Chili's good today. Don't leave us." Clara typed back, "I'm not leaving. I'm serving something hotter." She closed the laptop, stared at the city lights, and whispered, "Game on." The quad smelled like tacos and garlic butter fries. Students queued at food trucks, laughter mixing with sizzling pans. Clara joined her allies, Sophia with birria, Nina with chai, Jules with espresso shots, and Lynn balancing files with iced tea. "Meredith's email is gold," Evelyn said, waving a printout. "No jury ignores veiled threats." Debbie appeared with compostable forks. "Facilities look nervous. Jackson's been working from home. Marjorie's crying over cookie trays." Clara bit into grilled corn. "She's a pawn. We don't burn pawns. We burn queens." Raina's patrol car rolled by slow. A nod exchanged. Lynn tapped her pen. "We need the public. Ordinary people asking questions. That breaks the narrative." Clara chewed, wiped lime from her thumb. "Then let's host a receipt party. Bring coffee, bring questions, and bring proof." The tacos sizzled. Justice would too. The library's community room buzzed with fluorescent lights and murmurs. Parents came with notebooks, adjuncts with pens, small business owners with curiosity. Mara had set up extension cords. Jules brewed coffee strong enough to confess. Clara started small. "We all want to know, where did the STEM donations go?" Sophia cracked open a router shell. Empty. Nina projected ghost payroll records. Evelyn steamed a signature until the ink bled. Lynn explained it in kitchen terms. They swapped spice jars, cinnamon for cumin. Recipe card said STEM. Stew tasted like fraud. A nurse raised her hand. "Who signed off?" Clara answered, steady. "People who counted on you never asking. You just asked." The room erupted in applause. Human, raw, not staged. Raina quietly gathered names for witness statements. Clara sipped coffee, warmth steadying her. For once, the ordinary room was extraordinary. After the meeting, Clara booked a rideshare. The driver, middle-aged, kind eyes, chatted. "My sister cleans at Maplewood. Nights used to be quiet. Now trucks roll in weekly. She thought it was opportunity." Clara looked out at the stoplights and sighed. "It's something else." He dropped her at a copy shop glowing neon. Inside, Lynn and Mara printed binders, manifests, access logs, signature overlays. They stacked them like shields. "Feels like a school project," Mara joked. "It is," Lynn said, "except the grade's survival." Clara tucked a binder into her tote, next to granola bars and receipts. She felt like an ordinary commuter, yet the weight of $1 billion scandal hung on her shoulder. The faucet betrayed her. Rusty water pooled under the sink. Luis the super crouched with tools. Bad joint. Looked fine until pressure hit. Clara perched on the counter, legs swinging. "Story of my week." He tightened valves, tested flow. Leaks always show the truth. He stood, wiped hands. "Drink water, eat. Don't fight on empty stomach." Her phone buzzed. Nina's discovery. Jackson's commits tagged Ms. S approved, Meredith or someone mimicking her. Louise handed her a receipt for parts. Keep this. If it leaks again, you'll need proof. Clara laughed softly. Even in plumbing, receipts ruled. Debbie tugged Clara to the dog park. Sunlight spilled over wagging tails. Jules brought coffee. Raina leaned on the fence, uniform traded for jeans. Marjorie's unraveling, Debbie whispered. She brought donuts no one ate. She's been used, Clara said, tossing a ball for the terrier. Raina checked her watch. Warehouse search tonight. Warrants clean. Evidence chain solid. Joggers circled. Parents chatted. Dogs barked. The world kept moving, oblivious to fraud. Clara breathed it in. After tonight, we face my father. If he's clean, he helps. If not, we expose him, Raina finished. Clara nodded. The leash snapped back in her hand. Ordinary, grounding. Then let's fetch the truth. The warehouse hummed under harsh light. Officers logged evidence. Sophia sliced boxes. Nina tagged files. Lynn mirrored cameras. Mara cataloged manifests. They cracked Cage 2. More fake routers, cookie trays hiding barcode stickers. Jackson Pierce walked in, hands raised. I'm done. Meredith promised remodels, Tara ran cookies, Halverson forged signatures. Clara stepped forward. Who else knew? Board subcommittee, he whispered. Routine, they said. Normal. Raina cuffed him gently. You'll give a statement. Outside, a taco truck closed shop, neon flickering. Life in the city kept breathing. Inside, the fraud's heartbeat slowed. Tonight, rumors ended. Receipts began. The diner opened at 7 a.m. sharp, coffee already working overtime. Clara picked a corner booth with a view of the street. Delivery trucks, joggers dodging puddles, a school bus sighing at the curb even though everyone here was over 18 and late for work, not homeroom. Her father slid into the seat opposite, suit perfect, expression professionally blank. The waitress topped both mugs, called him Han, and left a laminated menu that had opinions about waffles. Clara laid out her stack, forged authorization, laundromat tested, Halverson invoices to the audit subcommittee, storage unit photos, ghost payroll commits from India, pallets of hollow routers from the campus cage. She didn't dramatize. She arranged the cups and saucers like exhibits. Richard studied everything without a blink, the way very rich men do when money and reputation are on trial. I didn't sign the Maplewood storage, he said finally, but I let the program run because it calmed a shaky quarter. Complicity by convenience, Clara said, adding sugar packets to form a tiny bar chart. You let a lie hold your stock price? He rubbed his jaw. Outside, a mail carrier hustled in with a bin of envelopes. Real life insisting on its rounds. Meredith has votes. If we move, it's public. If it's public, it's war. Clara lifted her mug. Then we stop hiding behind windowless rooms. They met in a room with glass, actual windows on 3 sides, Chicago pouring daylight across the table like cross-examination. Directors took seats with the noiseless choreography of expensive shoes on muted carpet. Clara brought her coalition, Evelyn, Compliance Steel, Sophia, Monterey QA, Nina, Pune Payroll Forensics, Raina, Chain of Custody Spine, and Lynn, Translation for Humans. Evelyn ran the spine of the case, dates, pallets, purchase orders, and Maplewood community storage lines that didn't add up. Sophia cracked a hollow router and held the ballast to the sunlight. Nina zoomed into Git commits, stamped Ms. S approves, then proved the fork path into Tethys and back into a Delaware trust. Raina set the Halverson invoices down like bricks, then warmed the forged authorization with a travel steamer until the watermark bled. Meredith tried disdain. A smear by an heiress in a hairnet. Clara stood. I didn't cosplay. I clocked in. I logged your lies, and I kept the receipts. She placed her hairnet on the table like a line in the sand. Richard's voice was formal. Motion to notify the SEC and DOJ, suspend Ms. Shaw, bar Ms. Voss from premises and systems, appoint Evelyn Crane as interim chief risk officer with full authority to audit Mexico and India. Hands rose. Majority. Tara paused at the door, phone face down for once. You changed the room? No, Clara said. We opened the blinds. They didn't celebrate with champagne. They queued like everyone else at the neighborhood cafe behind a contractor speckled in paint and a nurse in clogs picking up a second-shift latte. Debbie hugged Clara, nearly spilling hot coffee. Jules slid over a tray of espressos because caffeine is a civic duty. Board filed the notices, Evelyn said, checking her phone. Outside counsel already whispering cooperation. Campus warehouse? Lynn asked. Sealed and rekeyed, Raina replied. Audited, relabeled, and boring, my favorite outcome. Sophia scanned updates from Monterey. Bad stock quarantined. Real units shipping by Friday. We'll meet service levels without the magic tricks. Naina smiled into her chai. Ghosts fired. Real workers paid. Feels like oxygen. Clara picked up a to-go cup with Clara, no last name, scrawled on it. Outside, garbage trucks clanked, a cyclist cursed a pothole, a florist flipped the open sign. The city carried on doing city things, errands, receipts, small mercies. They mocked the lunch lady, she whispered. We fed them evidence. And now? Raina asked. Now we rebuild, and we keep the blinds open. Mid-morning, the campus bakery sold out of almond croissants, while journalists camped by the library steps, tripods sprouting like late-season dandelions. Clara didn't give them theater. She gave them order, a printed statement, bullet-pointed, with links to publicly posted documents, the forged authorization heat test, the storage findings, the ghost payroll path. No adjectives, just nouns that landed. Reporters shouted anyway. Are you the heir? Did you go undercover? Clara kept her voice even. I'm a cafeteria worker who counted labels. I'm also a shareholder who doesn't like theft. Today's about the people who were supposed to be invisible and weren't. She nodded to Debbie, Lynn, Mara, Jules, women who lived in the engine room and kept it from exploding. A producer tried to bait her. Any comment on shareholders suing your father? Shareholders can read the same receipts you can, Clara said. We put them online. She handed out QR codes printed on thick cardstock because formatting is a love language. By noon, 3 reputable outlets posted careful stories with the phrase, documented chain of custody. The rumor blogs went hungry. Precision had a flavor. Today, it tasted like pastry and restraint. Sophia FaceTimed Clara from Monterey, wind knotting her hair as she stood by the dock. Forklifts beeped, tape guns hissed, and the smell of fresh cardboard carried a weird, clean hope. We're re-serializing legit stock with proper plates, she said, camera zooming in on fonts that finally made typographers proud. Independent auditor on site. No more special initiatives without my signature and a second set of eyes. A warehouse worker, Elena, waved hello, Spanish layered with laughter. Sophia translated, grinning. She says thank you for not letting donations become excuses. They walked past a whiteboard listing routes. Houston, Phoenix, San Diego. Real deliveries, real timelines. Sabotage wants drama, Sophia said. Logistics wants quiet. Clara smiled. On her end, she was in line at a hardware store buying binder clips and a label maker. The clerk rang her up, chatted about weekend plans, slid over a long receipt. Clara folded it neatly. Receipts mattered in Monterey, too. They just weighed more. Keep me posted, she said. If anything smells wrong, text first, panic never. Sophia saluted the camera with a roll of label tape. Copy, panic later. At dawn Chicago time, the screen filled with Nina in Pune, a steel tumbler of cutting chai steaming on her desk. We rebuilt payroll, she said, eyes bright despite the hour. Geo-fences locked to verified sites only. Multi-factor on all time card approvals, random human audits instead of rubber stamps. Ghosts can't clock in when the cemetery is closed. She shared her screen, a spiderweb chart of old flows, Kana fulfillment to Tethys to the Delaware Trust, now severed. We also added an anomaly bell. If 5 or more training hours show up after midnight, I get a notification and a dog meme. Clara laughed. Dog memes improve compliance. Proven fact. Naina took a sip. One more thing. We traced a tiny drip into a foundation account under a name very similar to Meredith's. Too cute by half. I filed the SAR with bank counsel already. Of course you did, Clara said. You're the reason spreadsheets fear daylight. On the street below Clara's window, a jogger slowed to tie a shoe. Somewhere, a kettle whistled. Across oceans, small acts stacked into big corrections. Clara found Meredith in a holding conference room with the thermostat set to 68 degrees, her signature quirk, wrapped in composure like a trench coat. Counsel bracketed her on either side. Public relations waited with neutral smiles and sharpened pencils. You've made enemies, Meredith said calmly. They look like friends now. They'll look like liabilities later. I'll risk it, Clara replied. I prefer liabilities who tell the truth. Meredith's gaze flicked to the hairnet peeking from Clara's pocket. You did enjoy the performance? I enjoyed the perspective, Clara said. Turns out the floor sees more than the ceiling. A marshal stepped in with forms. Raina took custody notes without flinching. As Meredith stood, she didn't glare. She appraised. If the board survives, you'll be on it, she said evenly. And the first thing you'll learn is that windows glare at you when it rains. Clara held the door. We'll buy curtains we can wash. Meredith left with the quiet dignity of someone who didn't expect handcuffs to fit. The thermostat hummed at 68, order trying to outstare consequence. Maplewood's cafeteria smelled like cumin and something close to relief. Debbie stirred a vat of chili with triumphant swirls. Marjorie stood beside a tray of honest cookies, eyes red but steady. A printed sign above the serving line read, New policies, inventory scanned, labels verified, every box opened. Students came through with cautious jokes. Is chili extra? Only if your sarcasm is, Clara said, ladling with an unbothered smile. Lynn taped a laminated flowchart near the exit. Vendors, receiving, open box, serial verify, storage. Mara checked the campus portal to confirm public posting of all donations. Jules set up a tip jar labeled Transparency Fund. Money went straight to student emergency meals. Marjorie approached Clara with a small Tupperware. For you, oatmeal raisin, no labels hidden, no labels at all. Clara took the cookie, warm and soft. Thank you for staying. Marjorie nodded. I was stupid. I won't be twice. Welcome to the club, Clara said. We have aprons. They skipped the auditorium and booked the high school gym. Metal bleachers, squeaky floors, fluorescent honesty. No stage, no podium. Just a circle of folding chairs facing inward. The sign on the door read, Town Hall. What happened? Where we go? Who decides? Parents sat next to adjuncts, staff next to students, small business owners next to the curious. Raina opened with the chain of custody timeline. Evelyn summarized the board actions. Sophia and Naina explained what audit means without making eyes glaze over. Clara went last. We learned something unglamorous. Anyone can hide behind a label. So we're going to get boring out loud. Every box opened. Every donation traced. Every policy printed on paper you can take home and stick on your fridge. A hand went up. How do we help? Ask questions. Show up. Read the new pages. If something looks wrong, tell someone and don't stop. By the end, the bleachers were noisy with practical hope. Outside, a food truck parked by the curb and gave half-price tacos to anyone with an employee badge. It tasted like a small reset. Saturday morning, the supermarket reset its end caps for football snacks and autumn soups. Clara pushed a cart past stacked cans, feeling the odd lightness of a week where paperwork didn't lie to her face. She picked apples, pasta, bulk rice, a bouquet of supermarket sunflowers that looked braver than they cost. A woman from the town hall caught her eye near the freezer section. You said to read the pages. I did. I understood them, she said, a little surprised. Thanks for not making it jargon. Jargon is what cowards use to stay employed, Clara said, adding yogurt to the cart. We're trying a different diet. The cashier rang her up and chatted about nothing in particular. The weather, a missing brand of cereal, the manager's new baby. Clara paid, folded the receipt, and slid it into her wallet beside the hairnet. Proof and reminder, where she came from and where she refused to return. Outside, a kid sold lemonade for a band fundraiser. A father negotiated with a toddler about carrots. Adult life kept pacing forward, 70 small steps at a time. Clara matched it, one aisle at a time. Late afternoon, Clara opened her laptop to a new message from Halverson Analytics. Not the attorneys, not the board, the vendor at the center of the forgery factory. Subject line, errata. The body was painfully clinical. In light of recent disclosures, Halverson terminates all signature replication services and will provide a full log export to cooperating authorities. Attached, checksum list, vendor contact tree, archived macros for plate formatting. Clara stared, then forwarded it to Evelyn with one line. They're flipping to save themselves. Let's catch everything they drop. Seconds later, Lynn's face appeared in a video call from her kitchen, a dish towel on her shoulder. They sent the macro history, she said, half horrified, half delighted. Clara, they version-controlled fraud. We have dates, initials, embedded comments like PL's blur curve on RA flourish. People always leave fingerprints when they believe they're the hands, Clara said. Down the block, someone dragged a rolling suitcase. A neighbor watered geraniums. An ice cream truck song tried its best. Clara saved every file twice. Beauty and nonsense could wait. This couldn't. Monday, a federal magistrate set preliminary dates. There were no cameras in the hall, but the hallway had them. Phones, podcasts, opinions dressed as facts. Clara didn't address any of it. She went to the community gym, earbuds in, and ran. The treadmill faced a wall TV cycling between weather, traffic, and a segment about corporate ethics in community colleges that used stock footage of a chili pot and a woman in a hairnet. She almost laughed, almost cried, settled on running harder. Debbie texted a photo of a new staff schedule, her hours restored, benefits marked in bold. Sophia pinged a shot of a Monterey palette labeled correctly, panel by panel. Nina sent a dog meme with anomaly bell, silent. Clara slowed, hit stop, wiped the rails with a gym wipe like a decent citizen. There was a gap now, between catastrophe and reconstruction, between adrenaline and policy. It felt like the moment after fire alarms cut, when your ears ring and your hands are steady and you realize you still have a job to do. They gathered at Clara's apartment for something scandal never serves, dinner that sits and waits. Debbie brought cornbread, Jules salad with too many herbs, Lynn a pie that set the smoke detector off for a minute and made everyone laugh. Evelyn arrived late with a six-pack of ginger beer and a folder she promised not to open until dessert. Sophia and Nina joined on a laptop at the end of the table, their faces framed by kitchens thousands of miles apart. They ate like people who'd worked in service, fast at first, then slower, savoring the quiet more than the food. Between bites, they sketched the next month, campus training refresh, independent monitors, public dashboards with plain English, audits on the Mexico and India lanes, and a standing open-door session where anyone could walk in with a box and say, "Open this with me." After dishes, Clara stood by the window. The blinds were open, city lights, neighbors' televisions flickering, a dog walker waving, a siren fading. She took the hairnet from her pocket and hooked it on a tiny nail by the sill, not as a trophy, but as a compass. "They mocked the lunch lady," she said, voice soft and sure. "They didn't clap, they didn't toast, they just started planning. Women who knew kitchens, warehouses, spreadsheets, and the stubborn poetry of receipts. Outside, Chicago kept moving. Inside, so did they.